intro, then I'll let you know. Actually, it's coming on. And
Want to rise above what holds you back? These are the stories of those fighting that battle. It might also be the story of you. I'm Dan Waldschmidt, author of Edgy Conversations and strategist of billion-dollar companies all over the world. This is Mark Menard, author of The Story of You, the guy who knows a thing or two about never giving up. You're listening to Elevating Beyond. Let's get started.
hello, everyone, and welcome back to Elevating Beyond with a two-word mission statement: change lives. And let me move this little camera here. Boom! Look at that. I'm Carl. You'd be proud of me. I'm pressing the buttons without screwing up. I am here with my man Drew Nice. And first of all, finally in the studio, Drew. Well, you guys will learn all about this through the conversation that we're about to have. But the reason, like, it's great to have you in here is I just moved here to Boca Raton over the past like couple of years. And Drew is the owner of the barber shop,
Nice Barber Studio.
right on the shirt, my man.
That's right.
And not only is it inspiring that you started it like in the middle of COVID when everyone else was like, that would be the worst time. You also started it in probably one of the nicest, most expensive areas in the United States.
Prestigious is one of my guys would call it. Prestigious. And I'm
It
not
is, though.
one to that's when it comes to words, but prestigious is I like how that sounds.
It's a perfect word. It is prestigious, but it's up there. Like, so with the selection of that, and we'll get into like your backstory, but also something else I loved about going into your barbershop was I noticed, like, we were talking about your dude Patrick David was playing on the TV interviewing Kobe Bryant. And I'm like, oh, this place is different. Like, it's not the news playing, or it's not just ESPN, which is cool. But I'm like, oh, they're all watching. Did they have this on by accident? I'm like, wait, oh, they're watching it. They're talking about it. And then Patrick was like doing stuff with finances and going through his like amazing wisdom. And I heard you guys like, yep, you got to have that like emergency fund set up. And I'm just like, man, you don't usually hear this in a barbershop. And then we just continue to connect and grow, and like the culture that you've continued to build there, and even like what you're doing with social media and everything is just phenomenal to me. And I kept telling you, I'm like, eventually I'm going to get you here in the studio, man.
Thank you.
So what's up? How are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I'm super grateful to be here and have a conversation with you again, man. I believe it's all about what you consume on the daily that makes you who you are. Consumption is key. You are what you eat, you are what you read, you are what you hear, you are what you look at. So when you brought up the mention of Patrick McDavid, his show in the barbershop, that you're not going to see that in any other barbershop.
How did you guys, so anyone listening or watching this, when you see it, if you don't know who Patrick David is, just type his name in freaking YouTube or anywhere and he'll pop up all over the place. I mean, that dude's, not only has he built a huge insurance company, massive, with his shows, his radio shows, his interviews. I've seen him interview freaking mafia bosses flying to their island to interviewing Kobe Bryant. So like much respect for Patrick. Make sure you follow him. But did he just randomly come into your shop one day like, I need a haircut?
No, man. I believe in destiny, man. I believe in hard work, and I believe in the universe aligns you with certain people. And I had a dream one day. I've been consuming his content, and it's changed my life. There was a time in my life when I was down. I had to move, and I was homeless for a little bit, and I had to sleep at my aunt's house in a room.
Wait, let's get it. When was that?
This was 6 years ago. 6 years ago, where it was a very, very pivotal time in my life, and I noticed that I needed to figure out how I can generate more income to take care of myself and my family. So I came across his content one day laying in bed, you know, in a very, very troubled state, you know, where I was in that part of my life. And the first video that I came across was how to double your money. I need to figure out how I
Mm.
could double my money at that time, so I can get out of my situation.
So you weren't
Yeah,
taught
I was watching his content, you
like,
know?
what made you relate to him as opposed to, like, if someone else just totally got up there in a suit and tie and is talking where it's like a foreign language, you know?
Dude, the man sits there and behind his content, I pick up so many. He talks to you directly
Mm.
through content. It's not like he's talking to a crowd of people. You know, his content, the words that he uses, it makes you feel like he's talking to
Mm.
you directly. And I've learned so much just from that when I use my social media content.
Interesting.
I don't want to approach a crowd. I want to touch somebody individually. When I do seminars, when I do things, it's about touching everybody one on one, not saying, "Hey
Right.
guys, I'm here this morning on Instagram." That word guys, hey, how you doing today?
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? When it comes to social media content, you get more of a, you know, personal connection. And I believe that's how I really, you know, him being Middle Eastern with no college education, you know, 1.8 GPA.
That authenticity. See, I know some of his story. Like I said, man, Patrick, you're gonna be in here next. It's gonna be awesome. But I've heard some of it where he's from, because my wife's from Sierra Leone, West
Mhm.
Africa. We were talking about he's from originally from the Middle East.
That's right.
So you either and where are you from originally? You were born here, but your
Yeah,
family's
Puerto Rican American.
Puerto
I'm
Rican.
Hispanic.
So your family's Puerto Rican.
Yep.
Okay. Um, which isn't uncommon here,
No.
but that's the different mindset though, because you're not a lot of people come for opportunity, but you're not taught a lot of the financial, there's a lid
Mhm.
on stuff. And you only know what you know. And so it's grateful to be where it's a free country and you can get a job and a lot to be grateful for, but people sometimes don't comprehend you can actually have your own business.
Mhm.
You can do more. And how money actually works, like what Patrick was teaching you. So you're like in this kind of dark place, just feeling
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
6 years ago.
And it only got harder, man. That's the thing. You know, it only got harder from them. I believe things get worse before they get better. You
Facts.
know, they just continuously getting worse before they get better. And you know, I still was thinking a certain type of way, but following entrepreneurship content, you know, has shifted the way that I
Mm.
was thinking. You know, it shifted consistently consuming books and you know, verbal content podcasts like we're on our cell, like what we're doing now, and just listening to people with the same principles, man, really shifted the way that I was thinking, and I started, you know, following up with action.
So when you heard, were you reading stuff like that before? Did Pat
No.
kind of get you on that? So when you were really hitting that low, like what really was going on? If you're just gonna open up and be real
Yeah.
and connect with people, like, excuse me, what were you thinking? Like, I'm not, I'm not cut out for, like, what was it? Just like I'm just gonna be another like statistic. I'm just not cut. Like what was really going through your head at that time? What were the people that you were hanging with saying?
Absolutely.
What's going on in your
I
life?
was in a toxic environment. I was in a relationship with somebody that I shouldn't have been in a relationship with, and I made some bad decisions. Had, you know, I was a playboy at
Right.
that time. I'm gonna be
He
honest
says
with you.
was
I was a playboy. I'm not a
past
playboy now because
tense.
I think a lot
Just
differently, and I
joking.
understand values and principles that I learned from being leadership. You know, you have to have
Right.
values and principles, which are
Right.
huge. I didn't have any of that.
True.
And I it really didn't have any, you know, guidance when it came to women in my relationships. You know, and I had news that one of the girls that I was, you know, I'm gonna just keep it 100,
Just
bro. I was
do.
hooking up with her. You know what I'm saying? I was hooking
Yep.
up with, you know, someone, and she ended up getting pregnant, and I found out that I was having my son.
How old were you?
I was 27 at the time.
Okay.
But I wasn't thinking, you know, shout out to my son's mom. She's a beautiful woman, very, very loving. I appreciate her every single day, you know, and I was very immature at the time.
Right.
And but I did find out I was being blessed with a young boy while I was, you know, in a relationship with someone else. And this was very, very
Mm.
tough for me, and I made, you know, the wrong decisions.
Yeah.
And it really put a strain on me mentally to have
Yeah.
to grow, to have to think differently. So that was a very, very pivotal time of my growth.
Before that flip where you started watching him and even growing, because I just try to connect to, because look at all the listeners and stuff. Now, if you haven't heard this or your first time seeing me on here, I'm open about, you see the studio, everything now. I was in jail at age 17. I've got my own craziness that I've been through. I was at a time, I remember, like, I didn't think I was gonna live to be 21. I was at this, I wasn't necessarily suicidal at times, I maybe was, but I just was like, I'm living in a, I didn't even think I was gonna make it with the way the people, and both my roommates are dead now that I was living with at the
Wow.
time. Um, but anyway, were you at that moment like thinking, is life even worth, like, were you feeling like, what am I gonna do? Is this even gonna be worth it to like try? Or like how far in a rut were you at that, before you hit up like Patrick, where it got you thinking
Oh,
different?
okay. So you were asking me
Like,
how did I get into content?
well, like when you were really at your rock bottom, were you really feeling like, do I want to even keep going with, like, what's the point of life? Like, how low were you, just to people that are struggling, man, so they can relate? Because if they come and see you now in your shop and stuff.
Absolutely. I mean, there was so many things previously that added up to this. So many different, what's that word I'm looking for? So many different times in my life that wanted to take me out, that I ride with every single day. That you can't get rid of. Things that fuel your passion and fuel
Mm.
your drive. All the people that told you couldn't do anything in your life that really affects you. Adversity that you have to live with every single day for the choices that you made is what continuously fuels me today. Um, but I was down bad even before this, but I was very stubborn, and I was hitting my head every single on the wall all the time, hitting my head, and just recently I can feel like the adversity that I went through, with my relationships is now today. I'm 32 years old. I'm starting to get my head on right. You know what
Mm.
I'm saying? I'm starting to think the way that I need to think, especially when it comes to ultimately relationships. At the end of the day, is what I feel, that I have been improving on. So
That's cool.
that's keeping me, focused, focused, especially with women, man. Especially all the young men out there, man. It's not what it cracked up to be to have, to be a playboy. It's really not cool, to be honest with you. It ties your head up, emotionally, physically. It takes a lot out of you, man. When you want to focus and you have a
That's
dream
true.
and you want to be line drive, you need a woman that, and right now I'm single, a woman that
Yeah,
supports you is
when you're
so
least
powerful.
expecting it, that's when you find
Uh,
it, by the way.
and I'm not looking. I'm not looking, Mark. Right now, I'm just trying to improve myself and rebuild because I just got out of the hole, on some
Yeah.
very, very dark emotional stuff, and
Okay.
and
Toxic. It can get,
absolutely 100%.
and as like as you continue to grow, then you'll attract that person too. But that, I mean, eventually, when you get there, we'll do a whole other show on that, because there's a lot of work that goes into marriage and stuff, and people sugarcoat that like it's freaking all going to be roses once you meet. And there's tons of ups and downs. We've been married 16 years. My wife and I still go through stuff. Of course, there's a time we were separated, but yeah, that's a whole other show. But the key is, dude, even my man Tony Robbins was talking about, like, no matter what, you just keep working on what you can control. And that's
Absolutely.
you,
Hmm.
becoming a better version of you.
And that's my recipe. You see it right there in the barbershop on the wall. That's why I have the culture that I've built is so it's you're gonna listen to Pat in the shop. You're gonna listen to, different speakers. You're gonna listen to
Yeah,
personal growth and development. That's why the culture is what it is. We have a culture of accountability, a culture
I love
that
that.
requires you to chase your best version. You have a leader that's gonna tell you to don't eat that Philly cheesesteak.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? You have a leader that's going to hold you accountable to your physical appearance, that's going to pour into your mental. And that was the biggest thing, man. I wasn't in the
mm.
gym. I wasn't doing anything. And I just felt like I didn't have any worth, and I had to, and it was
It
so
makes
hard,
you
bro.
depressed.
Absolutely. So hard.
What
It was
working
so hard.
out is so good for your, not just your appearance, your mental. So I believe, and I'm going to be curious to see this about you. Like every entrepreneur I met, we create things. So we're also like artists. Well, you have to be able to cut hair and stuff too. But all of us, we're creating a vision that doesn't exist yet. So we're artists,
Visionary.
we're visionaries,
Yep.
but that also makes us a little bit crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even mean that in a bad way. We're
Absolutely, I'm on
wired
board.
differently because a vision is like basically like my company Dreamshine you haven't seen for people with disabilities. We're just finishing a pirate ship building there. And years ago, I'm like, one day as we make it like a resort, it's gonna be like Disney World, but for people with developmental disabilities, we're gonna have a pirate ship building. Dude, people will laugh.
Mhm.
And I'm going there next week. We're finishing it, but
Beautiful.
it's crazy. But
People will laugh,
that's right.
and that happened to me a few days ago. Hmm.
Yeah.
They'll laugh. I was saying something about my portraits on the wall because this is my art. This is what I love to do. And I shoot for this galaxy, shoot for the galaxy, speak, great things to happen. And they don't see your vision.
No.
I don't, what he says is, I don't think that'll happen. So he says something slick, and I said, ooh, give me some of that fire. Give me some of that
Right.
fire. Give me some of that fuel. I love it because it just makes me I want to show you because I'm so hungry. And then when I'm in the gym, I think about it and
Use it.
bro, I use it.
What
You know
it
what I'm saying?
and everyone listening, listen to that little takeaway right there. Use the anger and the hate as fuel. Don't let it and we're all human. Like, I'm not gonna lie and be like, dude, Drew never
Mhm.
goes through self-doubt or I never do. I'd be lying I wouldn't be helping any of you if I didn't say that of course you're gonna go through doubt. But there's I've learned you got to show them. And also your vision, it's like this crazy hallucination that's in your head. I don't preach down people's throats, but like I believe in God and he gives you this vision. He didn't give my vision to Drew. So I don't need Drew to co-sign on my vision. You've got and that's part of the test is like you've got to keep doing it when freaking no one else believes in you. Because every dream, and by the way, you have different levels of your dreams, is going to test it's going to test you to see like how seriously how bad do you really want it. And when you're about to have a breakthrough, it's always going to hit you at every level.
That reminds me when I first opened up this barbershop, man, an infant, a baby, and I brought somebody in to come work with me, which was going to be my right hand man. And he ended up, quitting after 6 months. I did everything I can to
Mm.
make sure that he made money. I went on the street to pull people into the barbershop to build his name, his reputation. And imagine a 6 month baby and the father, or the mother just leaves the baby. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm.
not that I had that expectation for the person to be a parent, but somebody to hold some of the weight with me. And at that time it was so pivotal because we were brand new, and I had so much to build, and I lost my top earner. So I through that time, now I can say I have a full barbershop. I extracted every lesson out of
Yeah.
that relationship. The things that I did, which were, flaws in my own leadership and
Right.
character. Character is so huge in
So
leadership, and I've
huge.
learned that through that
Mm.
situation. And I'm grateful for that situation. I'm grateful for that stress. I'm grateful for that
Mm.
anxiety of potentially losing what I've built in its infancy to overcome. And now, just using that mentality to the people that I have now, it changes the game. And I'm
Yeah.
blessed. It changed the game. It was pivotal to my growth.
But in the
Pivotal.
moment,
No.
it
Oh
sucks.
man, it's bad.
And
Bad.
that's why I was saying like the people that speak that don't help anyone, they don't share those moments. And that's why I always tell everyone listening, not if, but when these things happen to you, to know like, okay, man, well, Drew went through that and he got through it. Like
Mhm.
there is a other side, but you will go through that stuff and it sucks. I'm just before this, I got a call about a team member that was with us for a couple years and left. It's still we're always learning from I've gotten better at getting over it faster, but I've been doing it 16 years, but it's not every and then I always look at I'm gonna have a meeting with my head director. What can we learn from this? Was there a breakdown in leadership also? Even though it looks like the person did wrong and just left and went, is there still something else? Or is there another way we can learn to weed these people out quicker? Or is there something we need to get better at leader? We're constantly got to get up like above it, like how can we continue to learn and grow from this? And then another part that people don't talk about much with leadership is you've got to continually be the one that is like motivating your whole team.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to come in with, with like pom poms every day, but you got to continually be the one like reminding them of the vision and where you're going. When you're going home in doubt, like, dude, I don't even know how we're gonna make payroll. Like
Mm.
I'll be real with people. Like
Mhm.
I built up a savings and stuff, and I'm 16 years in. I remember times before where I would come home in tears to my wife, or I would do it. I'd cry in my office before I got home, just in the dark,
Mm.
because we were like starting, and then all of a sudden we got to have at that time like smaller company, like 10,000 in the gate. Our payroll is way more than that now, but that's not little when you're starting with nothing.
Absolutely.
And then I had no more. I had debt. I couldn't get any more anything, and I'm like, how am I gonna? And after it kept happening, I'm like, I'm working so hard, but then you gotta come in and all these problems hit and you gotta motive it's like, that's why I had that sword. I'm like, you come home bloody and stuff, but you wake up and you gotta pick that sword up and you go back into battle.
Mm.
And you can't come into the team and I say like be authentic and be real, but you can't come in as the leader and be like, oh my God, guys, I don't know how I'm gonna meet payroll. I don't You can't share that with a team in that moment. You gotta let them know, "Hey, guys, here's what's going on. Here's how we're pushing to." My teams, I've never missed a payroll in my life. They don't have a clue how many times I've had sleepless nights where I'm like, "Oh my God, we gotta get this. I gotta," but I constantly learn and grow through it, and you gotta show up and inspire everyone while you're freaking
That's true leadership.
taking
That's
on
powerful. That's
you've
powerful.
got like a freaking elephant on your shoulders and you're underwater
That's
and you're
powerful.
basically coming in, pulling everyone else up.
That's a big dream. That's a big dream. That's a vision. That's a real vision to endure the pain and still see
Yeah.
beyond the cloudiness, still see, behind the problems, and still tell yourself that this is gonna be worth it at the end. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The worth, is it gonna be? Yeah, it's absolutely worth it. Absolutely, the pain is gonna build the character. That's why I welcome and I
Mm.
anticipate now. I've got so well at anticipating problems that it helps my mental when it's actually going on. You know what I'm saying? I've built resilience, through the gym, through my mentality of, like I said, consuming content. That it's important that you anticipate that the hard times are gonna come and
Mm.
still be stoic during certain times.
It's a good word.
I've learned to be stoic. We just had issues before we got on the podcast.
Both of us
We just dealing with something. I'm out of business right now on a Tuesday,
with our
and I'm
businesses.
here,
Yep.
doing a podcast,
Yeah.
and now
Yep.
I have to.
The
You have.
company's still got to run.
It's still got to run, and it's gonna cost me.
Yeah.
It's gonna
Yep.
this is costing me right now.
Yep.
But it's okay. It's okay because I anticipate things. Like, I know that I've built, mental and physical fortitude where I'm gonna have to take this hit. I'm getting punched in the face right now, Mark.
Yeah.
I'm getting punched in the face.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So hit
Yep.
me. Hit me.
I got a
Bro.
sword. I got a
All
sword.
right, don't bring the sword, bro. Don't. I have a son.
But I do too. But what's crazy is you don't know what this is going to do. You're not coming in here doing this like, oh yeah, I'm losing out there, and I know this is going to immediately get me a million more clients. This could do something or nothing,
Mhm.
and you never know. But when you do these things and you feel it like in your gut, you never know what the ripple effect, or the most special thing is when some dude reaches out, or girl, and they're like, man, that show with Drew I was listening to, and like I'm going through something just like that.
That you see,
And they're like, "Mark, like, I'm so glad you had how do I connect with him?" You know, like,
you know what, Mark? Sorry to cut you off, but you know what that is to me?
yeah.
It's so fulfilling, and that's currency to me.
Yeah, me too.
That's real currency because I just did a seminar, and one person that came up to me, and I saw it in his eyes. I did a free
Yeah.
seminar
That's why I
for
do this
barbers,
show.
and he had so many bro, I was literally lit up, bro. I was about to like start tearing, bro, and I was like,
Yeah.
you paid me for everybody for what you told me.
That's
You know what I'm
right.
saying?
That's why.
And that's the
That's why.
currency. Pay it forward.
Mm.
Pay it forward, man. That's a beautiful thing.
And that's why we do this. Like, that's why people will fly in from out of state and stuff, and, like, people keep going to levels, and they just it's a beautiful thing, like, the ripple effect of putting that time in, 'cause it does, it takes time to come away from your day and do this, and we're all running our companies, you know? And with your company, I actually, no, something you just said before, you embrace, no, you look for, like, the adversity you were saying. I want you to kind of explain that to everyone because this
Mm.
isn't about just being an optimist or a pessimist, but I always confuse, like, which one's positive and which one's negative, one's positive.
Mhm.
But I always say this too, I'm a realist, so I agree with you. I don't be You're not looking for the negative, like waking up negative, like, oh, I know today's going to be horrible. But you're basically saying you're a realist. You're continually preparing for the worst and hoping for the best ongoing. Like, we have to constantly be strategized. We'd be ignorant if we weren't as entrepreneurs because we're positive, we're pushing people, we're always listening to the positive. That people get that kind of twisted if they think, well, if you're looking for the worst in this or preparing, then that means you must be a negative person. But it's not the same. Like,
Mm-mm.
how do you break that down for people that only see stuff on social media and aren't comprehending? Because that's an important thing that you need to have.
Okay, so you're asking me when it comes to positive and negative and how to think in my anticipation when it comes to adversity and conflict.
Yeah, yeah, and like looking for it ahead, with your business and everything, like staying on guard.
Yeah, man. I believe again. I'm gonna go down to what you consume. It's always about what you consume and who you surround yourself around. That are entrepreneurs that are successful, and anticipation and always thinking about what can go right. You know what I'm saying? When you focus on the negative, what are you going to attract? I believe in the law, the universe. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? What are you going to attract at the end of the day? What kind of energy are you going to get off? Energy is my currency.
Mm.
That's the way that I like to move. I like to make people feel good. I'm blessed to have a passion and I believe in my purpose. I believe in my purpose and, just understanding, those things are very pivotal to your mindset, going into entrepreneurship, going into, pushing yourself to be great, and understanding adversity.
Yeah. And what do you do to look for, not intentionally seek out the negative, but plan for, see, where I'm getting at, Drew, is some people say, like, if you do, actually, one of the guys that wrote the forward to my book, Dan Miller, New York Times bestselling author, I love and appreciate him. But he says a quote that gets misconstrued a lot. It's like, if you do the work you love, you'll never have to work another day in your life. And I agree with the concept of what he's saying, but I also flip that and say, if you do the work you love, you'll actually have to work harder than you've ever worked in your life.
Oh
But it
man.
will be worth it
Yeah.
because it's connected to your why.
Oh yeah.
But part of that hard work is I go like to a ship. If you're in a ship at sea, you're not being negative to be looking ahead of, is there a storm coming? Let's look at the forecast and be prepared for this storm. So maybe we need to change course and change our strategy, you know, because if you're only every day, oh, it's going to be rainbows and sunshine. And if I'll attract all rainbows and sunshine, it's great to be positive, but you also have to be in the mindset where you're like strategizing for those ongoing storms too, you know?
All the time, man. Thinking moves ahead. Playing chess, man. Playing the game of chess and understanding your cues when things are flags that are on the play. Everything that I do, I look, especially in my profession, I look, Even to me, Drew, it's a game. Everything is a game, and I like to study myself behind film content and watch myself when I cut hair because I'm watching the way that I speak. I'm watching the way
Mm.
that I walk. I'm watching, everything about me. Then I'm reconstructing myself every single day, and just trying to be better with that mindset.
What did you how long had you been first of all, I have 2 questions. One's about what got you to choose that, like, how you pulled the trigger and got chose that location where you are?
Oh
Because I
man,
know it was expensive in the
oh
middle of
man,
COVID.
Mark, man, let me tell you, man. I love that. I love that courage, man. Is manifested by kicking down the walls of comfort built by fear. I understood that this was going to be a challenge.
Because you didn't grow up in
Mm-mm.
you so
No, no, lower middle class.
you're in that area is in it's right by this area called Meisner Park,
Miles apart.
and I mean, dude, I'm just gonna be real. Like they nicknamed the Beverly Hills of Florida is like what
Mm-hmm.
they call Boca Raton. It's a lot of celebrities live in Boca, but they tell everyone they live in Miami, so people
Mm-hmm.
don't come out and find them.
Yep.
But West Palm Beach and all that. So to be able to, because I bet you were cutting a lot of hair in where you were, and you
Mm-hmm.
could have just had a shop and had
Ab-
friends and stuff come,
Absolutely.
but you couldn't have
Absolutely.
charged what you're charged. So
No,
what
man.
made
No.
you
I
think?
love this.
Like, what made you think? Like, let me be like the hater in your head
Let
because
me
I
get
know
it.
this
Give it to
voice
me.
came in your
Let's
head.
go.
Like, Drew, who are you to think you could go
Ha ha
down
ha ha.
here where there's all these freaking rich
Mm-hmm.
people in the Beverly Hills?
That's right.
They're not all Puerto Rican, all a bunch
Nope.
of rich old
That's right.
white dudes.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
You are
like
just they
there's
stacked
some
against me.
fact. It's coming in because that's going to come here. You didn't go to college. You don't have your freaking degree
Mm-mm.
from Yale or all this other crap. Like, what makes you think you can come in here? Like, why not play it safe and open a little shop where you are? You'll get tons of
Mm.
clients. Like, what if you open up there and it's the
In my
middle of COVID?
hometown, open because God was talking to me, Mark.
Oh,
God was talking to me. You know what I'm saying? He had something for me, and I was searching 3 years looking for a location, bro. Looking. But God didn't tell me that this was it. I pulled up in Meisner Park, and my intuition and my gut just kicked in.
wow.
I sat there during COVID with a mask on. I looked to my left, looked to my right. I went down, I grabbed the dirt, I smelled the air, Mark.
Wow.
I said, and my guys will tell you when I'm outside, dude, is this my strategy? This is honestly, Mark, this is my strategy to get to the next level.
Your
This
gut.
isn't about my revenues. This isn't
Your
about
gut.
none. This is my gut. How can I surround myself around people that
Mm.
are successful? How can I make people love
Mm.
me? Ultimately, I want to come into an area where I'm gonna be charged. I'm gonna be challenged on a high level. I didn't want to go open in my hometown. How easy would that have been? My name is ringing bells all over. How easy would it have been? Why do an easy level? Why not
Mm.
jump to the hardest level so
Wow.
you can be at risk? I pushed myself
Mm.
from a lower class area
Yeah.
to Boca
Right.
Raton, Miser Park. You already know
Right.
what that's about.
Right.
Lambos, Bugatti, all over the place.
Right.
How am I? I went in and said, how am I going to challenge myself on the highest level? What am I going to do to make sure that I'm successful here? I loved it because I knew that I had to continue improving.
Mm.
If Drew can improve every day, this is going to be nothing. But so I had it on my back that I needed to
Wow.
get better. I had to get better. My soft skills, my hard skills, my leadership skills every day had to improve. If not,
Mm.
I'm going to lose it all. And that's still my mindset today. Have your back completely against the wall
Mm.
and whatever you do so you could crawl, scratch, scream to
Mm.
get to where you need to get, because if you don't, are you going to be pushing yourself at 100% capacity? Are you, Mark? Are you gonna
No.
when
No.
you're
I'm
when
no,
it's life
you're
and death?
I'm just like
When
you
it's life and
preach.
death,
Yeah.
are you gonna push yourself? You want to live, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Just like
There,
you got the ET book there.
yeah.
How bad do you want it?
Yeah. As bad as you want, it's like oxygen.
That's the mindset I went in.
Yeah.
I went in with this mindset that it was gonna
Mm.
be extremely hard. That I need to go to the gym. I need to get my mind right. I need to cut off people. I need to make
Mm.
everybody in Boca love me. How am I gonna do that? By practicing the principles of how to win friends and influence people, understanding your purpose and understanding your why. Why are you doing this?
You know what's dope about this? Like this, it just hit me. Um, and I always say God is orchestrating because, like, what are the odds of us both coming from where we both even sitting in here right now? I wasn't even supposed to be I wasn't supposed to be here either. And then both of us, it's just I didn't even live in Florida. Like, it's harder for me to not believe there's some type of God orchestrating things than to believe that it's just freaking all coincidence. It's
Mm.
it's
Powerful,
crazy.
man. It's powerful.
But
It's
that
powerful.
gut feeling isn't really talked about. People talk about a business plan and all that. And yeah, good. Study, learn, but there's no business plan that says when you pull up here and God, it's not like this audible voice
Mm.
from a sky is like, Drew, this is, it's like you feel for it, for me at least, like this little kind of pull in your gut.
Incredible.
There's no business book that's like, take the sand and feel it. But there should be. Well, this podcast is telling you that in the Elevating Beyond School of Business, you should feel that dirt. Because I
Mm.
remember our first location for Dreamshine was the same. My office was in a barn, man. And I couldn't
I-
get a loan, and the recession hit. It was
it- it-
2008.
and that's beautiful. You know what's crazy, because I post on social media, Mark, right? I'm opening my own shop. Congratulations, Drew. Congratulations. 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 Oh, I can feel good. I can build my ego, right, Mark? I can
Right.
build my ego, right? But you know what I did? I said, thousands of you guys are telling me congratulations. Congratulations to enter the war where you can die.
Right. Because they don't
Congratulations.
get well,
That's the way that I took it, because you're entering
it
somewhere
is.
where you can completely fail and you
That's
can lose it all.
that's why I keep the sword. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, so you guys
Welcome
are
to the dark side.
congratulate me to going to Iraq in the
Fa-
middle of the
facts.
Taliban.
Facts.
And I didn't want to say thank you for the congratulations, because I know I was entering a war and this was my mind.
Right.
And I'm like, bro, let's get
It
it.
is.
Let's get it. Like, I don't want that. I didn't even have a grand opening party because I
Mm.
wanted to get to it. Get to
There's
it.
no time for that.
Nah, man. For what? What are we
Who
celebrating?
has time?
What are we celebrating? I'm not successful yet. I didn't make it. My shop isn't full. We're not pumping. You know, thank God today we have over 1,000 5-star Google reviews with a #1 Google 5-star rated barbershop in downtown Boca Raton, possibly all of South Florida. Let's go.
I
Shout
love
out to
it.
PBD, the connection. Everybody, Mark that's here giving me the opportunity. It's so crazy because the universe is just aligning me with certain people and I'm building relationships. And I want to provide value to everybody, which is my goal.
You know, what's cool about this is, again, like, I don't, when I speak at stuff and all that, I don't preach down places. I've spoke where it's atheists, but I'm like, whatever you guys believe in, I can't say stuff sometimes without God because I just realize things about life. Dude, I just thought of this. You were like just 6 years ago in this dark place, and then you start listening to this guy, Patrick,
I was 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 5 years ago, man.
just 5 years ago. Wow.
5 years. Which, you know what? Where you can be from 5 years.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Where can you be?
So listen to everyone listening to this right now too. Like, don't give up because, and I'm going to get into that after this. I really want to get into the because people have been going. It's been worse than ever with the negativity. It's even caught me but I was thinking about, you start watching this guy Patrick, and this
Beautiful story.
I love this, and this is his why. Patrick didn't need to do a show. Patrick didn't. He's got a big success. I didn't.
Absolutely.
I never needed to start a podcast. I wanted to do this because I was like, how can I reach people that I wish I would have heard? But I'm thinking, because Patrick was sharing his stuff for free, you were able to hear it.
Mhm.
But how freaking like amazing is God that he takes you there. You get the dirt. You get a lease out on an incredibly expensive place for money I know you did not have. That was scared. You're going into war. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Actually, you're going into war with no guns. It's like,
man.
it's not
No
even, at
name,
first
no
you're not
brand.
going into war. You're just running in. No, you're not. You're just running into the fire.
Straight in.
You're
You
running
jumped
it-
off the cliff.
You're running into the
And it's
gunfire.
so true what they say. You jump, and I was crying. I had a video of me just crying before I signed that lease.
It's
Like,
scary.
Dude, scary to jump off the cliff.
People have no idea.
Ooh,
Like
boy, you
what
gave
those.
me pumped right now.
Then you think you know what the costs are, and then you don't.
bro. I just
because it's like, wait, what? There's this
no,
insurance. There's
bro.
this. Wait, there's payroll. There's workman's. It, dude. But anyway, you then this dude that inspired you motivates you. Like a lot of times you don't even realize this when you're so stuck in the grind. But you step back, and I do I that dirt like that visualization is so strong to me. All of a sudden, the dude that like inspired you and motivated you, does he just walk into your
Oh
shop one
man,
day?
Mark. And
The
this is the
shop that
first
you
time.
almost never opened.
This is the first time I'm gonna be telling this story on a platform like this. People ask me all the time, and I haven't released it on my social media. Nothing. How I got into contact with Patrick McDavid, and again, it's intuition is God, man. I had a dream studying his content for 5 years, Mark. Right? I have a dream that he walks into my barber studio and we do a social media drop for Instagram. I rolled over on the side of my bed and I typed it on my story. I said, I had a dream. Patrick McDavid came to the shop and we did a social media drop on Instagram. Posted on my story, right?
There's power in that, by the way, by having those and putting it down. You put just there's so I wanted to get that takeaway. You didn't just have it and keep it in. You put it out there.
I put it out
So
there.
go ahead. Go
He ended
ahead.
up opening it up, double tapping, liking. That's all I heard from him. Nothing else. No reply. Nothing. Just he liked the video. That got me hype alone. But I kept it moving. I just hustled. I put myself in an environment. I understood the principles of what I was consuming, which was environment. Your environment's gonna shape you.
Mm.
Who you're hanging around is gonna shape you. Can I get out of my current environment, put myself in an environment with successful entrepreneurs, potential celebrities, people that are doing things, and I said, where can I do that at? Boca Raton, Meisner, where I
Right.
can be surrounded by wealth because I want to change things for my family. But
Mm.
to not to get off track, I posted that he liked it. Probably about a month down the road, I see him posting in a jacuzzi and tagging Boca Raton. I'm so excited. Oh, I'm reliving the whole thing, Mark. I'm getting psyched. I'm getting psyched because I'm reliving the whole thing.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm starting to
I
get
don't
lit.
know
I'm starting
anything.
to get lit.
I don't know
Because
anything about this.
it was an incredible feeling when it went down because oh man, you work so hard for opportunity. You know what I'm saying? You work so hard, and it's so fulfilling. But I saw him tag on Instagram Boca Raton, so I comment. I said, Pat, you need a barber, blah blah blah. No reply, nothing. And his wife was looking on Google for the best barbershop for Pat to go to because his
That's how I
barber's
found you, by the
Rapatoni.
way. It popped up
Yeah,
on Google.
yeah, he has a barber that's been cutting him for a long time. Shout out to Rapatoni. Um, and he needed a barber in Florida. He tried a couple spots, he didn't like it, and he ended up finding me through his wife on Google because at the time we were competing in a barbershop to get the most Google reviews so we could be number one
Mm.
on Google. So his wife found us. She connected us. She sent it to him. He put two and two together. He reached out to me on social media.
Oh, so he was like, wait, I recognize that dude
Yeah.
from.
Yeah, and
Mm.
then I have the videos. I have the videos on my computer, and it's mind blowing. And he reached out to me on social media. He said, "Hey, can you cut my hair like Rapatoni's been doing for years?" Meanwhile, I don't know how to cut the man's hair. Everybody's hair is different, and
Right.
that's a funny story alone because we had some issues with his haircut, but he still gave me the opportunity, and now I understand how to cut his hair. But he ended up coming by because he saw us on Google reviews. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? We were leading all 5-star. And then he saw me on social media, looked at my profile. Knew that I was about business, and knew that I was an entrepreneur. He ended up hitting me up and said, "Can you cut me tonight?" I said, "Yes."
That's Shadow, everyone. That's why I have him in here.
What's up,
That's
Shadow?
crazy. See, Shadow's giving that a yes.
Mhm.
Shadow, come here, buddy.
But he ended up, hitting me up on social media. And listen, I got goosebumps. And he comes through, and all I see is this 6 foot. What are you, Pat? 6'5", 6'3".
Is he that tall?
He's tall, dude. He's a big dude. In the parking lot with a suit, Rolex, Ferragamo belt, come out of Suburban. I'm like, oh my God, this is really happening. So I walk to the back of the shop. I'm freaking out. And then he comes inside the barber shop. And I said, "What's up, Pat? How you doing?" He said, "How you doing?" And I said, "Pat, if it wasn't for you, none of this would be possible. I'm super grateful for you." And I just was being honest with him. And honestly, the emotion built up so much, I broke down. I had to walk away because of emotion.
Oh, he probably didn't know that you had listened to all of like what his content had done for your life.
No, no, until we, spoke, after, the initial greeting. And, it was just, I broke down, dude.
That's
Because
cool, man.
dude, I broke down because I was following his content. I wasn't thinking like this. I opened up an e-commerce website selling clippers, selling blades, before
Yeah.
this, because the first video, what was it? How to double your money.
Mm,
So I opened up my own line of clippers, modified clippers and gold blades, 24 karat gold blades,
right.
that I learned how to do on my own, and I learned how to double my
Wow.
money. And then I just follow his content. And he ended up coming by and cut him up, and the rest is history.
That's crazy. I mean, had you not, I just go back to that moment in the dirt.
Oh,
And had you not listened to that thing in your gut, it tests you. God, it's crazy because God's like, because
Mhm.
your circumstances, like, you could be like, why is all this happening? And God's like, I just trust me and keep going. Because it just takes, I don't know, it's
I
like
almost
a
didn't do it,
handful
Mark.
of dirt.
I almost said no. I almost said no. Why? Because I decided to get advice from certain individuals, which was the biggest mistake that I
Mm,
could have ever done. And I said no to the first lease. But again, this was God. He wanted me to say no the first time because he said something better for me. The
wow.
location that I have now is directly in the middle, of Meisner Plaza, where you
Right.
have to enter. When you enter, the first shop you see is us.
Yeah, it's right
But
there.
I was gonna sign the lease to the one 3 stores down. But then
Mm.
I started getting advice from people. Oh no, rent's too much. This is crazy. You're going to Boca. No, my mom's scared. My mom doesn't want it because I love her, but she doesn't think like I think.
Yeah, yeah,
And
they're
she
doing
was
it
scared for
out
me.
of their,
Absolutely.
but your dream's gonna test you. You've got to be able to
Hmm.
have that when everyone around you is telling you this isn't good. Like, and they're coming from a place of love, but it's your dream,
Yep.
and they're
They don't
just
see it.
sharing what they know. But that's where, yeah, you've got to get advice. But then you have to get the best advice is from those that have done things at a level where you want to go. But then
That's
there's
right.
times when they don't have them. And that's where you got to then bring it to, okay, well, God is putting this in my gut.
Hmm.
And I've learned when something like doesn't go away, like I keep feeling this little thing in the bottom of my gut, when that's God and it just doesn't go away, to just, all right, dude, I'll do it. I never wanted to speak. I was at a Texas stadium speaking at an event last spring. I dropped speech class like when I finally went to college after jail, and I didn't read my first book till I was 18. I hated speaking. I didn't ever want, and then God gave me this vision one day, a dream shine of me speaking like at a stadium and a show. And I didn't want, and I'm like, what was that? Like it
Stadium
came out of
wow.
nowhere. I'm like, I don't want, you got the wrong guy.
Hmm.
And it just kept coming back every once in a while. I'm like, dude, God, find someone else, man. Like, I don't, and then it just continues to not go away. Then it's like, all right, I've learned just listen to it. And if you're following that, like even when all hell breaks loose, you can't go wrong because you're following like that foundational thing that God put there. And it's like, all right,
Intuition, man, is so strong, man. Especially when it comes to people in your life, man. It's so strong, so strong. And now, I'm listening to it, and now, I'm aligned. So, I'm excited, man. The future looks bright, man. As long as I keep my head on straight. We're still building. You know.
so how many people, like flashing forward, like Patrick comes, you do that, you're continuing and keeping it real. Like Patrick's been amazing, pivotal, but it's not like he came in here. He's like, "Oh, you've got this here. Let
Hmm.
me give you $2 million." Like you're putting your blood, sweat, and
Oh
tears.
man,
You're working your
listen.
butt
Pat
off
has not
around the
given me a
clock.
dollar. Pat has not given me a dollar. He does pay for his haircut services, but he has not invested yet. Let me make that clear. But he believes in me and he's advising me, and I got some big things coming that I'm not speaking about. That I'm working
Right.
with Pat on.
Oh,
And
that's cool.
and it's gonna be very awesome. And I believe in my gut that this is gonna change the game. You know what I'm
100%. I
saying?
have
So
no doubt.
I'm just happy to have that opportunity. I'm super happy to have that opportunity. Somebody of his stature, but
That's
it was
cool.
pivotal, very pivotal to where I'm at today.
but you had to continually, and you still are, you taking that leap of faith. And that's something else I want to throw out there, that it was in the middle of the pandemic.
Oh man, see,
So
I don't
talk
even talk
about
about
another
that.
time of yeah, could be the
Man,
thing that people don't realize when you're so far in the trenches, you don't even have time to know what's going on when you're starting a company and all that. You're just freaking there's no other, like you said, you're at war.
yeah,
You're
every
just
day.
in the grind.
Mhm,
It's like, wait, what, COVID's going on? Okay, cool. Anyway, back to work because I don't have time to think about all that. I just got to
mhm,
keep focused. I got to keep going. I look that, then a bullet's gonna hit me. Like
mhm.
I'm running at the line of fire right now. So it was in the middle of COVID, and I guarantee you other people were probably throwing that on top of, don't open it there. Oh, and in the middle of COVID, no one's gonna come.
No.
Dude,
Mm-mm.
when I went in there, like it was in the middle of the pandemic and it was packed.
That's beautiful, man. You know, it's and my business is my heart. You know, it's absolutely the way that I can make an analogy is that it's when it's busy and there's people there, I'm blood is pumping to my heart.
Mm.
And the urgency and the correlation between life and death is so important that if I'm not out there getting it, I won't have blood being pumped to my heart. And when the
Yeah.
shop's moving, it's just doom, doom. I'm just blood flowing because this
Yeah.
is who I am. It's bigger than just Drew, like, and it's just like it feels crazy. And if it's not busy, my urgency is raised times 15. I'm going to a gym, I'm marketing, I'm meeting somebody
Right.
new. I'm going out
You're
there
hungry.
to bring it in
Yeah.
instead of sitting there and waiting for a new client to make an impression on me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't understand
Right.
how people could sit there and just wait for something to come to them. It's incredible. Get out the door.
I can't relate to it. And also that's going back to the beginning where I was saying we're wired differently. Part of that is I think because we have these visions and stuff, when we don't, I know me, if I don't stay pursuing things and doing that, I can like back trend towards like depression or my head over. If I don't give myself something to focus, it'll start
Yep.
buffering, worrying,
Hmm.
overthinking, anxiety. So I'm like, screw that. I'm going to put that energy into going
Hmm.
after my dream.
Absolutely.
But I'm aware of that about myself, that we're wired differently. So it's like it can be a blessing and a curse because at times it's like, dude, I just want to like let my thoughts go. And your mind's racing a million miles an hour. But thank God we have something we can put it
And
into.
that's huge. And I think, what you said was very powerful, which is, transmuting that energy to something other than sitting home, being depressed, worrying about your anxiety, and
Yeah.
using that energy
Yeah.
to fuel whatever you're doing to stay focused, to take action. And
Right.
I believe that fuels me today. A lot of depression that I, dealt with certain relationships in my life, that made me feel insecure, that made
Yeah.
me feel like I wasn't enough. Even situations that I put myself
That
into,
toxicity.
yeah, that
Yeah.
that that fuels what I'm doing. It's high octane.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
high octane. The madness to prove people wrong, to show people that they were wrong. They were wrong about you.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? That it fires me up so much. You don't understand how I want them to look at me 5 years down the road
No,
from today.
I get it. But you know, on another level of that, what's going to be beautiful is when you go beyond those that, and I that did that to me too, especially when I started posting my whole story of my life and all that crap. Um, that when some of the people from my past came out, and at first it was like, then it's I'm like you, I'm like I'm gonna all right, I'm gonna prove you wrong. Which let that motivate you, let that inspire you. But what's crazy? Some years later, I had some haters be like, dude, it took 10 years maybe. Dude, thank you, Mark. I've been secretly watching like for 8 years. You've been inspiring me. And you saved my marriage. Like
People
I
that
didn't
in your
expect that.
past that
You
were
you got me to step up and realize what am I doing with all these drugs and show me like I can get it. Not everyone did that, but some of them a whole other level have flipped to that and then wrote like thank you letters to me, like out of the blue, some like 15 years. And I never saw that coming. It's crazy.
That's a different perspective and view point that I didn't even look at. You know what I'm saying? For the people that preyed on my downfall to come back and thank you, to get them out of their current state is I didn't the current level that I'm on right now. I think I didn't see that, but I want to be that impactful one day in my life
A
that I made
hundred percent. Don't say want to be, you will be. And we all go, I still go through it. It never stops at different levels. The voices come and it tells you, who do you think you can do this? Like this guilt. What, don't reach this high. And what I learned is like, as you keep going to new levels, the beautiful thing about it is it inspires other people. They're not going to tell you right off the bat, but you like shining brighter lets other people see that it's possible. And it's crazy because like you never know where you're going to be. Look how much has happened in just 5 years. Think 15, 20. It's hard to conceptualize that, but you never know like where it's going to be at that level. And it's crazy how those voices will come. But that when God had you hold that dirt one day, dude, you never know where he eventually has you down the line, like on this adventure.
I know you like that dirt thing a lot. That you pick that up and
It
you're like,
got I can relate
it,
to it.
and all your senses need to be keen like an animal. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like a dog that hears something that you don't hear. It needs to be keen. Your senses. I was so keen
Mm,
to the environment. That's why when I had to get a physical touch of the sand, dirt,
yeah.
and I had to smell the air.
And you got the ocean right there coming in too.
What's what I do? And then I get that little 300 sword that you got, and
You need one.
the shield, and it's like, let's go,
Yeah.
let's go,
It's truth.
let's go.
That's truth. How many people do you have working for you now? And like what was one of your biggest struggles with building a team and it doesn't end, trust me, I know. But
Hmm.
like and a culture because people think culture just happens like organically, but you've got to fight for what your main values are. If it's like, hey, we don't whatever it is for your place, it's like, hey, we don't do that to our customers or we don't certain things that we don't do here. That some people could be they could be I've learned people could be really good workers, but they might not share some of your core values. I know a lot of people listening
For
can relate
sure,
to that,
for sure.
which is a key which we learned the hard way. We'll just share some lessons that you've learned from that.
And that's where you get challenged ultimately. That's when your leadership gets challenged, and it's every day you're gonna get challenged. You're dealing with men, you're dealing with women, you're dealing with testosterone, you're dealing with estrogen. These are different things that you're dealing with.
Right.
So again, I'm still learning today, but certain things that I've to create my culture is accountability. It's about leading by example, by
Mm.
being $100 barber and embodying that, in all aspects. How? Being on time every day for it, being early. This is a principle that I instill in everybody, to be early to wherever you're going. The customer does not wait for you to get in.
Mm.
When you're there, you're waiting for them. This aspect brings value. And not a lot of barbershops do that. They come, they go, they leave. They don't care if they're late. They don't care about the customer service.
Yeah.
But no, it's about building relationships. It's about making you feel like you're important. When you come,
Yeah.
you're the celebrity. Every customer in my barbershop is the celebrity.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna take my shirt off for you if you're cold. If you want a water, I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna get you a water. Well, if somebody wants a shot of alcohol, I don't drink personally, but
Right.
it's something that we offer complimentary. Would you like a
Oh
shot of
man, you didn't offer that to me. I didn't know that.
Would you like a shot of Casamigos? My receptionist, my assistant comes,
That's
gives you a
awesome.
shot of Casamigos. He gets it, he drinks it. My hand is out. I take it out. I throw it out. It's a system. Where are you gonna get that service? If I can come with a napkin, and I
But
would do that.
what made you but that just continued to be and continues of how you kept seeing your vision of how it was gonna be. Like, because a lot of other barbershops you saw weren't like that.
I worked in food and beverage, and I was a server for 7 years at a high end country club. That I
Oh,
think that was a
see?
gap that was missed that taught me how to speak to people, how to be a servant
Mm.
on a different level. So I think that correlated with my customer service and my barbering entrepreneurship to help me be a fire barber and then have my soft skills.
That was your can we break this down for everyone? Because the I teach everyone the importance of working hard jobs, even that suck, that you never know. I've learned more, even if I've learned what not to do from having horrible leaders ahead of me.
Hmm.
I always worked hard, but you can feel in life like, dude, my first job was at Taco Bell. I've been working since I was 15 and a half. I had my permit. You could feel like, dude, what am I doing this? Like, I'm not making it anywhere. But I tell everyone the opposite. No, just keep working hard and keep going and work your hardest. You never know what you're going to take away from that. But working hard. So you go to a country club, you never knew that later on was going to be actually teaching you some things about
Taught me so
how can
much,
I like blend
so much.
that sort of it I don't wanna put words in your mouth, but I could see from going there, you almost looked at, how can I intertwine that experience of like a country club into a barber shop, but also bring your own, like, style into it?
Hmm.
Without you even realizing that, because when you're in that moment working at that country club, you're like, "Man, I'm not going anywhere, I'm not."
I remember the
Right?
CEO. He always liked when I had a fresh haircut. He always liked that I was always smiling,
Mm,
and he always moved a certain way. And I always watched people, you know what I'm saying? How he moved, how he walked, how he always smiled, how he was always clean.
mm.
These little things, and just understanding service, service, how to be, a servant. Yeah, I think it was huge. I think it was huge and plays a big role of what I do today in the barbershop.
What about finding people, from over there, the past
Finding
couple of years, like, finding the right fit?
that you're gonna go through them. You're gonna go through them is what I've learned, and I now after watching one of Pat's videos, what he said was instead of working hard to find people, influence, attract, you know,
Mm,
influence, attract people, and how you can do that through your own successes by the work that you put in, and the right people will come. And now it's like the right people are starting to come through me, putting the work in by busting my ass. You know what I'm saying? By them
yeah,
watching me
yeah,
busting my ass. When I'm in the shop, I have to outwork everybody. I
right,
have to, I have to stay busy. But
right,
the right people will come. Other than forcing people to work for you, which I tried. Hey,
right,
come here. I can help you make X amount of dollars. People don't. It's not just about the money. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
It's not just about the money. But I've learned to through my actions, through giving back, through doing homeless events, through mentoring through social media. All these little things are attracted. The right people in the vision, in the mission over
mm,
the commission.
I like that.
Or the
So
mission.
that
What
that
is the
needs to be your
mission?
own quote right there, man.
And
Quote
and I
Drew.
found that I've worked in a lot of missionless environments,
Mm,
missionless barbershops. Everything I do has a mission behind it. There's a statement
okay,
when
which is
you
part of the
which
culture.
is part of the culture, our
Yeah,
mission. You know what I'm saying? What is our mission? Why are we here? That's why we were effectively able to
mm,
build the number one Google 5-star review barbershop quick because we were collectively on a mission.
I like that collectively. That's something
Collectively.
else I was gonna bring up is I've watched how you guys have done stuff with social media and everything too. I don't know if that was like intentionally
Strategic. Everything is
strategically
strategy.
or right. And a lot of people aren't thinking it's not even 360. It's just every up, down, in the trenches, up above, looking everywhere and staying relevant. People that can have a barbershop or something may have some stuff, but you guys have a lot going on. I even see you do posts or reels. You have the clip. I saw you guys do some funny stuff like on Halloween and like serious stuff, cool stuff. It's engaging, and a
Hmm.
lot of people aren't doing that. Like I don't know. There's just something about that that's good and it's different, and you can tell because at times where have you had team members that were like, why are we going to do this on social media?
Absolutely.
Or
A lot of
that's what
introvert.
I'm
Yeah,
kind of trying to get
absolutely.
to. Like, how
Absolutely.
do you help them through that? Or let me, sorry, I'm asking you a lot. I told you I talk a lot in a
I
row.
love the challenge, man. I love this. Come on, let's go.
What about when you have a weird idea, like, let's try doing this and recording it, and then you have the doubt of like, God, dude, what if that's corny? How do you help
Ooh.
overcome that?
That that's hard, and that's what people deal with every single day.
Like, let's be
About
real with
being
everyone.
judged about their social media content.
Right.
About being corny. When I started thinking, people only have an opinion for 4 or 5 seconds. You think, and then after that, they're worried about paying their bills,
Right.
and then they forget.
They forget.
They forget. Once I started
That post you
understanding
did
that,
4 days ago, no one remembers.
they don't remember,
I
dude.
know.
Shoot the gun.
Yeah.
Shoot the gun every time. Bang,
Yeah.
bang, bang. And bro, because at the end of the day, they're gonna forget and just it takes one video, one relationship. You know what I'm saying? And it's about being consistent. But again, it is hard sometimes because at the end of the day, sometimes we do care.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we do care. And
Right.
we want to be liked.
Right.
Ultimately, people want to fit in. They want to be part of a community.
Right.
You know, so
It's a balance. It's circular. It's not. We'd be lying if you would say like, oh, I don't have any feelings about it, and I don't ever. But
I
you got to
remember I
figure
did a
out.
video on Halloween, and it was us, we were we were
Was that like the Vatos?
yeah, dude.
I
We
thought it
were
was funny.
dude, we did the Vatos video, man, and just me being corny, bro.
I
Super duper
no,
corny, right?
I think that was one of
But it
the
didn't get
one.
any views, any likes. I had a bad comment, this is that.
Oh, really, dude?
And
That was like
bro,
the one
I
that I
I
thought was
posted it
hilarious.
and then I took it off. And I'm like, Drew, what are you doing?
Oh
I
man,
archived it.
I almost like text you. I was like, dude, that had me cracking up.
Dude, I archived it because I was getting into my own head. You know what I'm saying? I said,
I've
you know
done
what?
that. I've
You
done
know
that.
what? Just leave it. Just leave it because my team was watching me and they seen me do that, and that made me feel some type of way. You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
Because I'm a very, very confident individual,
right.
but I still, you know what I'm saying, am battling every single day with,
Hundred
certain things
percent,
every single day, every day.
dude. Confidence is the weirdest thing because there's a thin line between confidence and total fear and doubt. It's like you can be super confident and also it's like, but you're still battling stuff all the time. It's a weird thing. Like I'll speak at events and people be like, you don't struggle with anxiety. I'm like, dude, before I got on stage last night, in my head, I was hearing, you can't do this. No, you still, yeah. And that's why I'm real about it. Like confidence is it's a skill. It's a muscle that you build. And you're not just born with it. And that's what I used to falsely believe when I was young. Like I said, I would see us here, like, must be nice. They must have just been born with charisma and with parents that gave them a studio and never. But the more I learn, no, you build confidence. You can build it like a skill. And the more you do, like you're able to have that in your memory. Wait, if I did that and got through it, like I can do this.
Dude, and you know what? I've been on a personal fitness journey, and it has helped me so much because this has been 7 months, and I was very out of shape 7, 8 months ago.
Mm,
And when I opened up the shop, I was super skinny. I didn't have any muscle tone, nothing. And I got into a very, very dark spot. Even during trying to build a business, I was
right.
being attacked by everything that wanted me to take me, and I wanted to
It
quit.
doesn't ever stop,
And I
dude.
wanted to quit at one point. I wanted to
Yeah.
sell the shop. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
I wanted to do the whole thing, bro. Because finding people to come work, you know what I'm saying? That whole thing, holding the whole boulder on my back was so hard. But it's built my character, and getting into the
right.
gym has built my confidence. And correlating heavy weight with anticipating the struggle is just it's powerful, man. It's so powerful, and it's gonna take me to the next level. Because just
Yeah.
like they say, what got you to this level is not going to take you to the next level. You
Right.
need to recreate yourself. How can Drew
Absolutely.
recreate himself? You know what I'm saying?
For
How can he
life.
be a leader? How can he be respected, more disciplined? And which ways are you going to be more disciplined? Which ways is what I think. What's my strategy? If I look a certain way, I feel a certain way, I feel good, I'm operating, you know what I'm saying? It just
I like that. And something else I like to tell people too is a lot of people listening that have started companies. Now you're getting to a level where, like we were talking about, I love speaking on leadership because I've started to learn in my own company like what a game changer it continued to become. you work hard, you build this, but then you start learning, whoa, I've got to learn how to lead. And it's a learned skill, how to lead people at a whole other level, which also means how to fire people that I'm
Mm,
friends with,
mm,
that are friends with our other friends in the shop. And it's like that other things. How am I going to make and if I fire them, this other girl or guy is going to be mad at me because they might leave too. Be- I'm just being real with everyone. Like this stuff goes through your head. And I've
stress.
made the
Woo.
mistakes in my earlier years of keeping the wrong people on for too long out of fear. And I lost great people because of that. And it started infecting my culture. And then I started learning, whoa, I've got to learn about leadership. So, like stuff on leadership that I would have read before, I wouldn't have comprehended because I wasn't even at the level of understanding what it was to have employees or team members.
Mm,
So that book would have just went right by me. So like at different levels, there's new levels of wisdom. And I remember I was really struggling with that with the leadership part. And then I started getting into I always have it there. My man Dave Ramsey, his entree leadership. His I went to his event. Like he had like Mark Cuban and stuff. I got around all these other owners and they were talking about they really cared about their people. And also,
mhm.
here's how you fire. Here's and Dave Ramsey's like, I've had sleepless nights sharing real life stories of how they got like 5,000 team members now of how they had to fire him, how he made mistakes by not. And I'm like, whoa, I can relate to this now. I need to do that. And so then I learned because this is where I see a lot of people, you can only go so far until you like start then diving into that leadership level. And it's interesting to me because I've seen some either plateau or they're like, I just, I'll be a solopreneur. I don't want to have anyone. And, but you won't ever go there without learning how, and it's a learned skill to build a team. Um, and I just like to throw that out there. And I know you're in that kind of transitional phase right now. And I don't want to put anyone's name on the spot, and I wouldn't, but like, can you think of something just to help any of the listeners of have you had an issue where you've had to I've kind of been on this thing with having healthy conflict and like because having those because you're the person, you want everyone to like you, like not for the wrong reasons. You're the leader. But what about when someone's really doing something, ongoing that's not like horrible, but it's enough to where you got to have an unpleasant conversation with them? Like, can you let the listeners know how you've dealt with something like that, whether it turned out good or bad?
Man, again, that's a tough because it's a lot of stress is involved, and being like is what you want, but sometimes you need to put your foot down and stand for your values and principles and your culture and holding them accountable. So I noticed in the beginning it was very, very hard for me, when
Mm.
I would pull somebody over, but I noticed that I could not stand it in my environment. I was gonna blow my head off if I let it continue. I was gonna
True.
blow my head off and I
I
was gonna
know.
snap. I was gonna snap.
Right.
So in the beginning, I would challenge, especially by gentlemen that are older than me,
Right. I was
which
gonna
is
ask you about that.
which is something else. You know what I'm saying? So as the
Right.
leader is putting in the work to get us here, and creating opportunity for everybody, I need to learn how to have this tough conversation.
Mm,
So now is I'm a lot more straightforward, and I try to say as less as possible, and I try to come to an understanding of
mm,
why this is happening and what I believe is the best thing for us to do and to come to a decision and in a conclusion of where it's coming from and how can we come together to have a good turnout. But I've been challenged with people challenging my culture, challenging the way
right.
that I think about my system, challenging coming on time and being held accountable for things that why we're wearing uniform, why
Mm,
all these things that they want because they want to come in and they want to change your system.
yep.
They want to come in and they want
Yep.
to say what their experience and what worked for them and how
Right.
what I'm saying. But I've had people work for
With
me that lost businesses that
right.
but then they have obviously I believe in failure, failing
Of
forward,
course.
and there's still
It's
lessons to
learning.
extract. So I listen with the open ear, but I won't let my ship crash for one toxic person.
Right.
So I would pull them to the side and I gotta be honest with you, man. I got to be honest with you. This is not okay. I don't believe that this is okay. This is what we do here. This is what we stand for. This is our mission. Everything goes down to our mission. If you're conflicting our mission,
Yeah.
you're risking my entire investment,
Right.
and,
Right.
and I can't have that happen. But it is challenging, man. But it's something that you need to go through, and you need to build a skill in confrontation with somebody and understanding your emotions
Right.
and your intelligence when it comes to your emotions. The times where you pull somebody to the side and they want to get loud with you,
Yep.
but
Yep.
you have to be composed as a leader and still be assertive. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
still,
I've done wrong. Let me do. I'll be honest with you too, because I don't think you help people. Me, I don't. If I act like, oh, I've written on leadership, I don't. Dude, I lost my temper in my earlier
I have
years.
as well. I have as
I'd
well.
be lying if I say I didn't.
Yep.
I blew up. The dude was in the wrong, but that was where I really learned as a leader. I kept letting it go on. One of the best workers with our clients with disabilities, so good with them, but would just snap at other team members, would just be rude, and passive aggressive. That's what I can't stand. That's why we have a no gossip. It's like, let's just freaking let's talk it out. Don't do this freaking, let me read your mind. And if there's something wrong, let's just talk it out. Like something about me, you don't have, if I have a problem with you, we're going to talk about it. I'm not going to like drop little hints and crap like that. We're going to just talk about it in a mature way.
I love
But
that because what you're saying is it's gems. Continue because I'm going through something. I want to hear what you have to say.
yeah, yeah.
It's important.
And I have learned that we can't read each other's minds and stuff. And I've done it the other way where I try to be like, "Ugh, they're not doing this and this. So let me just, if I keep showing them this, they've got to know they've got." And I've had leaders that I'm teaching, like, well, have you talked to them like literally directly about that thing? Well, no, but they've got to know that's part of their job. Well, I get it. I'm with you. But have you talked to them? Because we don't read minds. So I get your frustration. I get your anger, but you got to have that direct conversation with them before, because we don't read minds, and let them know, hey, I love you here. You're like, and we talk. And also what I learned from doing it the wrong way is I pull, when it comes to criticize coaching, I use the word coaching. You do it in private. Even if it's, I get it, you're busy, you're clipping, even if you have to pull for a quick little stand up. I've screwed up in my early years and I called that dude out in front of the whole team. I actually went off on him. And he was wrong, in the wrong. But guess what? I looked like a jerk because I was being a jerk. I went back to my office and I had just finished like reading that thing from Dave Ramsey, and he was sharing when he did that. And they have a thing called the golden rule, like do unto others as you would have done unto you. And I'm like, oh God, I just I would not want someone to do that to me, even though. So I then went back and apologized to him in front of the entire team because the whole team witnessed it. By the way, even though he was in the wrong, but as a leader, I had to humble myself and apologize to him in front of and your voice would be like, "Well, you're good. That's going to make you look weak and all that. That's crap." It takes more strength.
The humility is powerful.
It takes more strength
That's right.
to man up, woman up, and apologize when the other person, when you can give all these others excuses and deal them. But then I tell people that doesn't mean we didn't still deal with a problem. Then we went back and met one on one. Ultimately, ended up firing them because it didn't turn around the other way. And I learned a lot from that. But I also learned a lot of gossip that was going on, all this toxic stuff that had been happening after he left. And he was someone, we were smaller then. We only had like 6 team members. So and 2 were like tight with him. And I was like, if he leaves, they're going to leave. Some of that happened. And then I learned, whoa, our culture was literally changing without me. Because culture doesn't just change like that. It happens gradually. Someone comes in, they're like, why do you do that with your system? And you just might be so busy, you don't have time to explain. And you finally be like, okay, fine, don't wear the one shirt that day, or don't do the one post thing. But then gradually then they start telling other, it's crazy. Then and it's happened to me, and I still have to battle for it, teach my leaders. But then once I fired that person, I came in the next day and it was like this toxicity and weight that had just been in there for 2 years, that had become the new normal, that I, as the leader, had allowed because as my company was on me, had failed like my team, our clients, had become the new normal so sneakily and gradually that I was like, oh my God. And then I learned, when we weed out those people, I will coach them. If they're willing to change, we'll take you as far as you want to go. But we're going to have those conversations and we're going to hit it head on. And I'm going to be like, this isn't a generic write up at your other job. We're going to talk it out. By the way, I'm doing this. We're doing this because we care, or else we wouldn't even be wasting time to help coach you. We know that you have potential. That's why we're talking about this with you. Can we work on this kid? Then I would study how they are after. We just had someone leave today for after 2 years because they couldn't handle a freaking coaching session. Took it like that. They've been treated well, done well. They just let that is part of it. That can happen. But then I realized those aren't the people that you want. And there's times, I know when you're small, you're doing everything, you're exhausted. You're like, we can't lose someone else. Like, we need 4 more people yesterday. I've been there. I still go through it. And I've learned at times you can get more done with less of the right people than with more of the wrong people. So there's a point where like so say you have like 8 freaking solid, but I'm not saying not to keep growing,
Mhm.
but it takes more time to find that ninth person. And everyone's tired. We're working doubles. I'm like, guys, I get it. I'll reward them. But you can bring in that 10th person because you need someone that's toxic. And it's crazy. It becomes subtraction by addition. So you add one negative person to like 8 awesome people. I call them like eagles. You add a turkey and and it's like you lose 3 people. You lose the energy of the 3 people because the freaking toxicity of those energy
Mm.
vampires sucks it out of them. So it's like, cool, they're helping cut the other hair. They're helping pick the shift up, but they're draining the energy out of and sometimes people don't even know why or how. And sometimes people will quit and they don't even know why because things got toxic, and your culture can gradually change. And it's a harder move to do in the moment. And I'm always saying, have those conversations with people, but you've got to rally the troops up and be like, I know we're short. Cause I've had it where they're like, you're going to fire them? Like, we're already short. And I've had to learn, I know, but I've told them now twice, we've got this thing with gossip that when you're having a problem, you bring it up to the person that can fix it. If I'm having a problem with Drew, I don't discuss, I don't gossip to another team member that can't fix it. I got to go directly to Drew in a respectful way. And sometimes that's how you learn. You might not even know something was happening. Like, oh crap, I didn't know that the chairs hadn't been working for 2 months. I would have got we money together to replace that. I'm just giving an example. But they could be gossip. Oh, he's too cheap. He doesn't want to fix and you're like, what? No, that's happened. I want to fix that. But I learned, when that gossip happens in our company, it's so toxic. We'll meet with someone and we'll talk once. We'll say, if it happens again, you're fired.
Mhm.
You're not going to fire us for gossiping. Yeah, we will. Because I've seen what will happen if we don't. But then I had it happen again and we were already really short staffed. And I remember I being at the moment like, oh crap, we what if we fire them? Like, we're going to be so short staffed and everyone's exhausted. But if I don't, they're not going to take this no gossip policy serious because we told them, if this happens again,
Mhm.
like, you're going to be fired. And so I learned, we pulled the trigger on it to do it. And what's crazy is it's hard in the moment, but like that unity and that momentum over time builds more and more. And it's harder to build a good culture but that's what will give you that longer term success. And I- I'll flip it back to you, but just to before we like finish up even too, I just heard last night something on Chick-fil-A. That company started 76 years ago. And they've been one of the most successful in all fast food, but they didn't become that till like over the past like 15 years or 10 years. But for like 70 years, they've had this culture. The dude's dead that started it. His culture was so powerful, the people under him took it. Like, dude, even with their franchise, they won't allow you to open any more than one restaurant if you're a franchise owner. They could make more money, but their quality's so high. They invest all this leadership. They have a wait list of like, and he made me think of you because I met one of the CEOs at an event and he shared a story of his grandpa. And it was kind of like you at the country club, but it was like he went to a Hyatt back in the day. He had this vision. I'm gonna open a fast food place, but we're gonna serve people with a customer service like the Hyatt. Everyone laughed. Everyone laughed. You're not gonna get high school kids to act. How are you, sir? How are you? Have you ever gone to a Chick-fil-A at the drive-through?
Man, and that's how we that's how we compare our business.
They're out there,
You know what I'm
dude.
saying?
They'll
We
be out
compare
there in
our
the rain
business.
and come up
That's
to your
right.
window.
That's right. That's it, man. Those little gestures, man, is so important. Customer service is so massive. It is massive the way you treat people. And it's the psychology behind it. What effort does it take to say these words? Realistically, we're playing a game. It's a strategy.
Yeah,
How are you? Yes, we'll be with you. Thank you for your patience. Thank
yeah,
you. Thank you. Hope to see you again. Please. Thank you. How are you? Name. All this is, and it's a game, man. It's a game, but you have to have integrity and be genuine behind it.
right.
100%. You know what I'm saying? It's not
Yeah,
just me doing it to make a bag or make some money, but it's genuine. You know what I'm saying? It's a
yeah.
purpose. But that's huge, man. That's massive.
It takes effort too, though.
Takes effort.
Like you got to fight for you got to continually fight for all these things that you keep seeing in your place. And a lot we get exhausted. Like I don't okay, dude. There's days like okay, fine. Like don't wear it. But I've learned do that once maybe. Don't do it twice. Because gradually your culture. And it's harder. That's why I tell people all the time, like culture is such a played out word. You got to fight. You talk about battle. That's
Every
why the
day.
sword, it never stops.
Never.
And the moment it does, it doesn't, people think, oh, the business just went like that. No, it started gradually happening over like a 10-year period, you know? But the good news is you can always, and when you notice it, I've been there and you're fixing it. And it never stops for life. But it's just crazy. But what's cool is we always can learn.
That reminds me of so much, and it's so powerful that I'm sitting here sharing a brain with you. That there are some fixes that I need to do in the barbershop. There are some decisions that I need to make. There are some people that I need to have conversations with. Because sometimes we want to put it off.
Yes.
And then forget about it, and then it's gonna arise again very, very soon. You want to snip that in the ass. You know what
Yes.
I'm saying?
It
But
won't go away.
I won't. And to have those tough conversations repeatedly, it becomes a problem, and that brings, a lot of value to me, what you just said. So thank you.
I hope it's easy. Yeah, you're welcome. And it never gets easy. I'll spend times coaching my leader that's been through it. That's when you get at a whole other level, you'll be teaching them. But I let everyone know we all go through that. But the more you put it off, man, and you know what sucks? Like, see, people sometimes see me speak and they think I have a show. They don't know that I actively operate a company with over 20 team members. You even see we serve over 55 individuals with developmental disabilities. We do transfer. There's so much involved. But they may can't come and do amazing tomorrow. And so you're like, I was going to talk to them about that, but they just killed it. And then they may do amazing on Friday. Oh my God, they just killed it. Then a week might go by there. Then the thing will resurface a little bit. And it's like, oh man, now's the time to talk to them. Oh, but it's like it's not going to go away. And I'm only telling you this, and I tell other when I get hired. I spoke at companies that have way more employees than me, and the owner, the CEO, doesn't want to have a talk with a guy across the hall with him. And I'm like, dude, you go in a Fortune $500 billion company, you're too nerd. And then I realized so the good news is that's just why we're authentic. We all get nervous. It happens to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing I've learned, it's never fun, but it's worse when you don't and I call it healthy conflict, and you just got to talk it out. But when you do, oh my God, dude, it's like another weight drops off you. And they may leave, and it's always going to end up for the better,
Mm-hmm.
or they're going to
Always.
grow and get better. But God, you hold that in, and it's like putting another little brick.
Oh, it's bad. It's bad. It's bad. You can't, you can't, you know, let it build up.
Yeah.
You can't let it build up. You got to have those crucial conversations, man. And that's something that I've built skill in. So through failure, through putting myself in a situation, through caring about my culture and my team and our reputation so much that it's a must. But it's value.
Yeah, man. Well, hey, look, Drew, this is we'll have more stuff to come. Look, and hey guys, in the future, we'll do something where we'll be sitting in your studio. Plus you're going to have your own place in your shop. I'm already putting that
Man,
out
that looks
there.
beautiful. I saw
You'll
the
have
vision.
me as a
I saw the
guest.
vision, and that looks, with the glass, see right through. What?
I'm going to be there as a
I
guest.
love standout factors, and that's a standout factor.
I could see that.
That's a beautiful thing.
I see people coming to visit it not, dude, when I spent time with Dave Ramsey and his team, because he has a whole other business side that's not the financial.
Mm-hmm.
So he's speaking to all the business owners, but then he's on the air doing his radio show. And it was so cool to see him. There was only like 80 of us, so we got to really connect. He's doing a show, and they run a whole company, and then people come from out of state to like watch him on air and stuff, like through the glass and stuff. It was crazy. And then they'd share like, oh my God, you helped me with blah 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 or this and that. And I could see that in the barbershop, people coming, not even just for their hair, they're like
Mm-hmm.
wanting to come from listening to the show. And it becomes like this whole other thing of this ripple effect of change and helping people.
That's
Then you start
beautiful.
having more products, of course, like, oh, we got a coffee shop now. While you're waiting, you
Mm-hmm.
want to buy some coffee from us, or
No,
you
that's
get your
dreaming
liquor
big.
license.
That's dreaming big, and I love it, man. I love it. Yeah, I need that liquor license for sure. 300,000, 400,000.
Is
I
that
don't
how
know.
much it
It's
is?
up there. It's up there.
Wow.
But
Is that really how much it is?
if
I don't know, because I've never had to try to get one.
I don't know, man. I don't drink anymore, like at all, dude. So I don't even think I want to sell. And when I don't know,
I got you.
but I don't know, dude. It's just I feel like
If you
alcohol is
if
poison
it's
to me, man. It
Yeah,
feels like poison.
I've I can drink now, but I'm gonna do off and on. But I went through so much crap in my earlier years where I got out of after jail and stuff. I got away from that nonsense, and then I got now to where I could be like, okay, I've been grinding for 9 months. My wife and I are in somewhere for the weekend, just the two of us.
Oh,
But
absolutely. See, that's an occasion. No, that's an occasion. Yeah,
right, but
absolutely.
it's not the same as
No.
where I don't think about it really much anymore,
Mhm.
which is nice because I used to. God, yeah, it can be so toxic. Yeah. I get you with relationships and all that. And I could do what your core values show you. You don't want to get
That's
it and
right.
sell it, don't. But I see the show for sure. So Drew, and we'll put it all like in the show notes and stuff too, but your barber shop. So let's get everyone to like follow you guys on Instagram and stuff. So what's the handler for that? The Nice.
Yeah, so at Nice Barber Studio 561 on Instagram, same thing on Facebook at Nice Barber Studio 561. That's the barbershop tag, downtown Boca Raton.
And what about yours also?
Me personal is at Drew Nice 561.
At Drew Nice 561. And well, first of all, check them out. They have awesome stuff on there. You'll love it. And you'll see what we're talking about. If you're ever around Boca, look that up and go by there. It'll be worth it. Get a haircut and meet the one and only Drew. Maybe he'll even give you his autograph.
I'm so humbled, man. Come on, I'm so humbled. Come on, come on.
So no, for real, check it out. And you never know who you'll meet in there. I love it. I want to leave it off with that because last time, nope, time before last, I was in there. This older guy was talking to me. That's what I love about the atmosphere there. And then someone brought up about Dream Shine. He's like, "What's that?" I was talking about my place with disabilities. Then he's like, "Oh, wait, my son or maybe grandson has that and he needs a place." And I find out he's like the senator of like wasn't Maryland, it was like New
In the
Hampshire.
barbershop.
Yeah.
You know,
And
this downtown Boca, man.
him and I are then
Man.
he's like, "Can I get your card?" And I'm like, "Yeah, for sure." And they're wanting their son to, I think it was grandson, to come to Ohio because they don't have any programs for them. But that's your play. The other time I was in there, I was talking with someone. There's a NFL player. I can't remember his name. And dude, I'm the worst with names, Drew. It's Mike that cuts my hair a lot, I think, right?
Mhm.
I think Mike was like, "Oh, how did that guy know you?" And I'm like, "What? Who?" I forget who it was. And I'm like, "Oh man, I think I had his dude on my show." But like that's just a normal thing at your place. Like, but not everyone's not trying to act like they're all that or it's just he was just being real and was just like, "Hey, Mark, what's up?" And I'm like, "Oh, cool. He must be." But I don't know. It's a cool culture. It's a good place to check out, and there's connections there, man.
That's
Like
a
that
beautiful
senator
thing.
got my card.
Almost 2 years, man. Almost 2 years open for business, and again, your environment. You know, I want to be around these type of people. You know what I'm saying? So where can I nestle myself in the middle of the biggest pond? What I'm doing,
Mm,
Mark, is I'm fishing, man. You know,
yeah.
I like to fish. It's one of my hobbies.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's one of my hobbies, and you know, I haven't been doing it as much, but I will in my later life.
Good for your
Um,
mindset. We
Absolutely.
should go sometime.
But again,
I'm looking for spots here, so let me
dude,
know.
it's the same thing. You know what I'm saying? And it's like I want to catch a big fish. So I study the habitat. I study what they eat. I study all this, the lures. You
Mm,
know, the tackle you need to. And I go out there and I go fish and I catch them.
right.
So I thought about the same thing as a strategy going into the barbershop. I said, what lake can I go fish at? And what
Right.
gear do I need to catch these fish? This is how I think, you know, about my strategy. And now senators are in my barbershop. You
Right.
know, ballers are in my. Michael
Right.
Vick just came by the shop,
I'm not the least bit
dude.
surprised. Dude,
Are you kidding me,
and
bro? Like really?
you're able to charge more than any other place.
Absolutely,
And
absolutely.
they'll come there and be like, "Sure, we'll pay."
And they'll come. You know,
No
the
no
people
one
you
else
can meet.
would
It's
pay. And I'm
incredible
not saying you don't do
for
phenomenal
sure.
services,
Absolutely.
but you're able to charge that because you took that big ass risk,
Yeah.
bro. Like I'm giving you credit for that.
Thank you.
You took that huge risk to put it in that spot.
Hmm.
Like Michael Vick senators, they're not gonna be around a lot of those other. They're just driving by. They're on visiting their 15th house or whatever they're doing. Mike Tyson just bought a place right by
Dude, you
here.
got people walking by the shop that are celebrities that we were noticing.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like MLB, you know, coaches and bro,
yeah.
it's like they're going to the restaurant and then we talk to them. It's like, come on.
You know, that's a whole other. And I know we got answered, but I just about you take that risk to level up. We had to go through a lot to get to sell our house, to move here, to put the money down, to get this place. And it's a whole other level. And then what's crazy, a whole other new scary, a whole, oh my God, now I'm going to have this. I got to, and, but that thing in the guts, like, dude, you got to go. And then from the level, it's like, just the connections I continue to make, even just from living in this neighborhood, a lot of cool down to earth people that are doing huge things. I've had several guests just in the neighborhood for on the show that are like normally they'd have to fly in from out of the country.
Hmm.
And my neighbor's like, "Oh, dude, you need this guy runs Keller Williams. One of the last names is the owner. He can be on your show. I work directly with him." Like, wait, what? You got the? I just finished that book, I think. Yeah, I'm going to meet him right now. Quick text call. Okay, sweet. That would be amazing. Like, but it took the risk of like getting you talking about fishing and going to like that bigger. But you didn't take the little like, let's go from this to that. It's like, let's go from the lake to the freaking middle of the ocean.
Yeah, and let's go try to catch a great white. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And then guess what? When I had that analogy, all of a sudden I see Patrick
Right.
walking inside my barbershop. A great white, we can say. We can
Absolutely.
say. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And
I
guess what?
respect that. Hell, he's a
And it's
great
incredible,
dude too.
not that I'm, in a way where I'm, just it's just the strategy and how I'm correlating fishing with uh,
No,
attaining
I
the
get it.
clientele that I want to have.
Of
You
course,
know what I'm saying?
and it
My
was about
collection
the
of
risk,
clients.
right?
You know what I'm saying? My collection. You ever been to Flanagan's?
Yeah, yeah,
You ever see
yeah,
these fish on the wall?
yeah,
Patrick's on the wall, Mike Vick sitting on the wall. All these people are sitting. I'm like, bang, bang, bang. And I want to put myself in an environment where I can do that. I'm not gonna
yeah,
go to the lake or the canal to do that. For what? So I can have a bass fish sitting here and a little cichlid and
yeah.
a guppy and a tadpole and a little frog. No, bro. I want that rooster fish sitting on the wall.
We need to leave you all with that message: is if when you're going after your dream, you've got to go big. You've got to go big with it. And listen, you could have hit the little in between and done all right.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you would have just stayed there and something wouldn't have felt right. And there's this thing, everyone, you're listening, you're watching. You need to when you're stuck between the choice of that thing in your gut, I want you to have the one that keeps your ass up all night because you
Mm.
can't freaking sleep. One, it's exciting. Two, it's terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
And you're wondering, is that the one I'm supposed to do or is it this one? The one that keeps you up all night out of fear, that's the one. Because that's the one that takes the most faith and that's the one that's going to bless you with the most fruits.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the one you're going to have to fight the hardest at every level to get to.
Hard, man. You got to put yourself on that risk, man. Step out that comfort zone completely.
But you can
Completely.
do it. I can't believe I
Yeah.
thought you had been doing that for more than 2
What?
years. I thought you had been open for
Operating?
more.
No,
Yeah.
dude. Rookie. I'm a
Wow.
rookie entrepreneur, man.
Bro, you're
I'm a
doing good
dude.
for
I'm a
2
rookie
years.
entrepreneur.
Every time I go in there, that place is packed. It's wow. I thought you were closer to like I guess it was during COVID, so that makes sense. That's crazy, man.
I
You're
was a
doing a
point
lot.
guard too in high school.
Oh
So I
yeah?
was bam, bam. And before I opened up the shop, Mark, I was preparing myself mentally.
Right.
I would go on the basketball court. I would close my eyes and I would manifest. And I would be dribbling the basketball. And every single time I threw the basketball under the legs for alley oop is an assist. So I would vision myself being in the front of the barbershop, making an impression on the first client, and then passing them to the barber behind me. Everything is basketball oriented, sport oriented. But I will close my eyes, bro. Same thing when I grab the stand outside the barbershop.
Envisioneering. Yeah.
I'm looking. I'm just I'm trying. I'm living it before I'm actually living it.
You're right.
You know.
And don't doubt every successful person I know does that, by the way, including me. So, like, when you look for these little clues to success, as someone's like, dude, I'm going to envision something that's cheesy, it works. You can't do it without doing that because nothing around your current environment is that. So, it's like you step into it before it even exists. And you got to continually do it ongoing.
All the time. I go sit by my dream cars, man. I go sit in dream
Good.
cars. I have, I sit in, high end cars, man, just to sit in it, to feel it. You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
Right.
oh yeah, this fits me.
And it's good. And it's going to eventually
You know what I'm saying?
and you don't do it out of like, oh my God, I'm miserable every moment till I have it. It's not like that. Or you're not looking at envy at people. You're putting it out of like, what do I got to do to eventually have that? And you get a little closer to it, it makes it more real. That's why I do driving through different neighborhoods, things like that, always different levels. I'm not like, oh, I'm so depressed at where I live now. I'm grateful. But I'll do that to be like, oh, you get a little closer. And then you keep that vision closer. And then eventually that becomes a reality. Then there's another level.
Mm-hmm.
So listen, everyone, I am here with the one and only Drew Nice. Make sure you check him out. Show them some love. Follow him on Instagram, Facebook, everywhere. Check him out at Nice Barber Studio. And never settle. Never give up. Keep elevating beyond.
Let's go.